And we're back from the summer break with a post-race episode, and what a race it was. I'm going to start today, Tim, by rubbing salt in Ferrari fans' wounds. Lewis Hamilton given a 5-place grid penalty for the next race at Monza after he failed to slow down yellow flags on his way to the grid in Zandvoort. So that was right at the beginning of the race. It was ugly for Ferrari. Lewis made a mistake. He's out. Kimi Antonelli made a mistake, and Charles Leclerc was out. And obviously, there was so much more drama in this race. McLaren and Red Bull and Racing Bulls and Aston Martin with a surprise finish and so many other things. But Tim, we got to start with Ferrari because we've been ignoring this most of the year. And our thing on this show is, listen, I will always bring the goofy, crazy, salacious rumors that I see on the internet to the show, right?
Absolutely.
But I also want, but that's because we like to dispel them.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of shit that flies around, right?
Yep, that's true.
And I have been ignoring the Ferrari BS for a long time because even for me, who loves a good gossipy story, Ferrari is like, it's cartoonish. It's a soap opera. They're the Dallas Cowboys of the sport. You know, been a while since their last championship, most followed team, most valuable team, biggest stars in the sport. And here we are, Tim, and I have to finally start to say, what the heck is going on? It's like somebody put a hex on these guys. So we'll start with Lewis Hamilton, who seemed to have a frustrating weekend. You can tell that he's not loving being outqualified by Charles Leclerc as many times as he has been. I think that's not normal for him. Mm-hmm. And then you get into what happens during the race. And for those of us that missed it, a little bit of slick, a little bit of rain on the track, as is normal in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. And Lewis touches a little bit of paint, and what happens?
See you later, buddy. Into the wall.
Into the wall. All right.
I mean, it's just such a difficult weekend for Ferrari, Adam. I mean, they started off this whole weekend just on the back foot. Like Friday was, and this is Fred Vasseur's words because I was in his press conference at the end of this race, and this is Fred Vasseur's words, one of the worst Fridays they have ever had in 3 years.
Wow.
So that's telling you something. All right.
Yeah.
You could hear Charles Leclerc on the radio on Friday, even just complaining about it. I mean, I think the team did well to turn the car around, get it somewhere where there was a balance for it for Saturday for free practice 3 and then into qualifying. Honestly, if it's not for the engineers working overnight back at the factory to find something that could work. I mean, Adam, this is a car that could have easily qualified outside of the top 10. Like, it was that bad. Both drivers, I thought, did a good job, though, however, in qualifying to get the car where it was to start the race. And I had mentioned that in our post-race podcast that we did. However, with Lewis, I guess we can just start there when it comes to that penalty, Adam, that you mentioned. So yeah, Lewis is going to get a 5-place grid penalty for Monza. And it has a lot to do with the reconnaissance lap that the drivers take when before they start the race. And so essentially what it is that if you're doing more than one reconnaissance lap, you have to enter, obviously, pit lane. Mm-hmm. And the drivers have been warned that there was going to be double waved yellow flags in that section for drivers coming in that area. And they had to slow like quite a bit. And I think the statement said that the data showed that Hamilton had entered the double yellow sector approximately 20 kilometers an hour less than his speed at the same point in practice sessions, had reduced throttle application in the order of 10% to 20%, and had lifted and braked 70 meters earlier when entering the pit lane. We did not consider that a 20 kilometer an hour reduction in speed at a double waved yellow sector constituted reducing speed significantly, because that was what the officials wanted. They wanted speeds to be reduced significantly under those conditions. And they also go on to say that we also did not consider the speed at which the driver entered the pit entry road as being at a greatly reduced speed. So, I mean, rough weekend all around. And then obviously Lewis, damp conditions, having that error and crashing the car. He was pretty upset about it with himself. A lot of damage for them, Adam. And then the stuff that happened with Charles Leclerc, which was disappointing for Leclerc because he was actually having a really good race and didn't want to be undercut by Antonelli. Antonelli having a good race too.
We'll talk about his penalties.
And anyway, so he racked them up today. And Antonelli coming out of pit lane, probably not in the best tire warm-up. And then also, Leclerc is sort of an innocent bystander in all of this, where Antonelli's like, right, I'm going to send one in here and I'm going to try and get an overtake done because I can, kind of thing. And Antonelli obviously crashing into him and crashing Leclerc right out of the race. Now, Kimi did apologize to the Ferrari team. Obviously, Italian driver, Italian team, heading to Monza next. Probably good to get there on the right foot. So we know what happens in Italy. So, I mean,
he almost lost his citizenship on that move.
So I think
you're from France now.
You don't belong here. I felt bad for Kimi. Up and down weekend for him, but like you said, Adam, we'll get into him later. But for Charles, very disappointing. I mean, did have a really good race that he was putting together. And I spoke with both drivers. I spoke with Charles and Lewis before the race started. So on Sunday afternoon, I had an interview scheduled with the two of them. And Leclerc even said, look, we didn't have the qualifying pace. He said, but I feel we have the race pace. And he did. They really did. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it did look that way. I thought Charles had a really good thing going. And for Lewis, it really did look like this was one of his better weekends, Adam. His qualifying looked really good, and
early race pace looked good.
Yes, and he looked a little more comfortable in the car too.
It's so interesting. By the way, Tim, I should mention Tim's in the Netherlands. In case you didn't know, he was at the race today. You interviewed Lewis and Charles, as you mentioned earlier this weekend. How was that? I just want to do quickly. There's very few people in the world that get to interview a Ferrari driver. You got to do both at the same time. I got to just say for a second, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it was fun. I got pictures of it. We were in the club suites doing an interview with Leclerc and Hamilton. It was a lot of fun because we had all the fans showed up who were in the club suites to come and watch it. And dude, there was at least 300 people in this little room, just watching this interview. And I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, God, this isn't live television. I'm not just talking to a camera right now. I'm actually I've got a massive room full of people here. It was fun, man. I had a really great weekend. We did a lot of interviews this weekend as well that went fantastic. The interview that ended up happening with Leclerc and Lewis, it went over really great. And the two of them were obviously, they were fantastic. I mean, they came in and energized the crowd. There was Lewis was answering one of the questions I had from him, and this guy in the back just yells out, he's like, "I love you, Lewis." And Lewis is trying to answer my question. He starts laughing. He's like, "Yo, thanks." So it was it was a good time, Adam. It was fun. Got to interview Paul Aaron, who's the reserve driver at Alpine. We had Pierre Gasly up there at one point. We had Franco Colapinto. Did some stuff with David Coulthard. Who else did I have up there? Oh, Zach Brown. Zach came up. Liam Lawson and Isack Hadjar had those two as well. And it was interesting, so we can get into Isack in a minute. But yeah, no, it was good fun, man. We had a good time. It was great.
So is it Isack now? Because I keep calling him Isack Hadjar. But
yeah, I would when.
How does he want it pronounced? Because I'm happy to do it.
I think for us, it's probably Isaac. Yeah. But if you want to do it properly, it's Isack.
Okay.
And so I wanted to do it properly because I didn't want to be that,
I mean, you want to be respectful, especially face to face. But the anglicized version is Isack, right? We're not losing our mind. Okay, all right. Because I heard the announcers even saying it this weekend. Sky Sports was pronouncing it that way, and I wondered if something had come across or like actually he wants it pronounced this way. It happens in hockey all the time. There was a guy that played for the Leafs for like 5 years, Tim, and he got traded to San Jose and immediately changed the pronunciation of his name. And everybody's like, what the hell? And he's like, oh, I just didn't want to change it in Toronto and bother anybody.
No way.
Yeah, it was Liljegren, and then he wants it now pronounced Liljegren. So,
oh my God.
You know, a Swedish name, don't know.
Real quickly, take a quick left turn here.
Yeah.
So the Finnish television, so Viaplay in Finnish.
Yeah,
they were here. I was sitting beside them in the media center, and they were telling me that Philip Forsberg was here this weekend to watch the race.
Did he bring his cool mustache? He's always got like a a mustache. What's the guy from Aladdin? He's got like a Jafar mustache, right? He's got the curls at the end of it. Love Philip Forsberg, great player.
Back to Ferrari.
Back to Ferrari and all their troubles. And listen, I'm as a McLaren fan, I'm relishing it. But you know, it's crazy, Tim, because you know I have tried to keep this show about what was happening on the track. When it came to salacious rumors about Ferrari, because they're always so ridiculous. But I have to ask you at this point, it's becoming hard to ignore. Like it feels like there are problems at Ferrari, major ones.
Yeah,
and I wonder, is that just the end of a cycle, new driver, new thing, and then next year it all resets because we got a new thing, or is there a culture issue, or is there a direction issue? Because that's always the thing with Ferrari. There are a lot of politics internally.
Yeah, 100%. I think like also when you take a look at it from the driving side of things, like I'm always curious as to when it comes to the drivers and for next year's car. Like I wonder if it's like one driver wants the car to go one way and the other driver wants the car to go another way. And you know, maybe there's like internal discussions happening over that. But it's weird because both drivers' styles, they're not identical, but they are quite close. And I think for Leclerc, he's really interesting when it comes to taking something that's maybe not the greatest, but he makes it work. And he's able to try and find the pace and wring it out of the car. Where with Lewis, it's with the way he approaches things is a little bit different in terms of trying to find the right setup and balance that he kind of needs to do what he wants with the car. And not necessarily does that help him when it comes to maybe the race pace, where we take a look at Leclerc. He's been like extremely solid in the races. Like he's been really, really, really good. And where Lewis has struggled has, you know, been in qualifying for sure, but really in the races, he has struggled, Adam. Like the delta between the two of them is quite large. And that can be quite frustrating when, you know, he's a 7-time Formula One world champion. Like like that's not going to sit well with him at all. Right. So, you know, moving forward for Ferrari, I tend to always think that like, there's always something going on there behind the scenes because, like you said, politics and things of that nature. But again, I think also at the same time, like we just tend to blow things way out of proportion when things maybe just aren't that serious behind the scenes, and it is just like the team's frustrations over just not being where they want to be right now. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's if you're Ferrari and you're not winning, it feels like your last place. Yeah,
right?
Totally.
That's just the thing. That's the place they hold in the sport.
Yeah, you're so right too. And plus, you got Monza coming up, and you don't want to be going there on this kind of a note.
No, not after a weekend. Like, so what? I mean, the great thing about this weekend, Tim, I was thinking on the drive in to the studio was that they're going to Monza next weekend. It couldn't get worse. I mean, it can. It's Formula One.
Well, it can always get worse.
There's no double DNFs. Like, you never see Lewis not finish a race. You rarely ever see Charles not finish a race.
That's true.
Unless it's Monaco. And it's pre-2023, which he would crash out every year. I'm just curious, what does Ferrari need to do to get back on track in Monza, because this sucks. Like this is the weekend they should have warmed up, and then they should have been in fine form in Monza. Now there's no warm up. They know they've got race pace. Do they have a hot weather car, and can they compete next weekend?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? You're heading to a big power track. Hopefully, I mean, hopefully the Ferraris can take it to McLaren's. Like, if you go back to last year, this is when Ferrari turned things around in the championship. Yeah. It was at Monza. That was the race where that team really came to life. I don't know, Adam, if I see that happening for them this time out. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
really? What were the factors that led them to turn it around last year that they don't have this year?
Setup and having a car that had drivability, and then making sure that you could maximize both of those windows and give the drivers the confidence to still go out and push. Where with this car, it's like these guys kind of chase their tails with it sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like they're trying to find a setup, find something that works, but they can't. And then something all of a sudden just sort of clicks, but it's not enough. And then when you try to do something more with the car, you may have some success in qualifying, but then like we saw in Hungary, it affects your race. Like so there's just something that's not correlating with what's going on with the car. And for the drivers, at a track like Zandvoort, it's a big commitment track.
Yep. And
you can't make any mistakes on it at all. Like, I mean, I went for a run around the track last night, and
no big deal.
And the cars like now, Adam, are just, they feel too big for the track. If that makes any sense.
Of course. I think you could say that anywhere. I mean, specific, like Monaco, it's the most obvious, but there are plenty of tracks where it's like, you just can't pass here. These cars are too big.
But just like, even when you go from like the exit of turn 1 all the way down to the entry of turn 3, like that pathway is just so friggin' narrow. And Verstappen had an incredible pass there, which I want to talk about.
That was crazy.
And that's what makes that pass just so amazing, because when you are there, these guys are just on the razor's edge going through different parts of this track, where you dump a wheel, like we saw with Lance, you immediately crash. You're in the wall. You dump a wheel on the grass, you get punished for it immediately. It is a driver's track, right? It's an old school track. And so you need to have confidence with the car, so you can go and push it and put it on the edge, take it to its limit, and see what you can do. Like Isack Hadjar did that on qualifying. He threw it out there, man, and he hung that thing out. The drivers for Ferrari just can't do that, right? Because they don't really know what's going to happen with the car.
It's not predictable. They don't have
They
can't build confidence in
it. Okay. It's just sort of a downward spiral from there, man. Like that's
and Charles made one of those daring passes on George Russell. He ended up getting penalized for it, but I still have to give him credit for going for it, because it was pretty darn close, and I really liked that.
Oh, the pass Leclerc pulled off on George? Okay, so he didn't get a penalty for that one. He did. There's no further action on that one. I just got the news for that. I put it out on my Twitter.
Oh, okay. So that's just breaking then.
But you know what, Adam? Like, I'm really glad that Leclerc didn't get a penalty for that. Because if he had gotten a penalty for that pass, honestly, dude, like, just forget it. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
That was an incredible pass. And for people out there who said that it's not, you don't know what you're like. Go back and rewatch it. That pass by Leclerc was friggin' awesome, muscling his way past. Like, that's an old school pass. That,
you want to see that. You want that back in the sport.
That we want that. That's what we want. You're telling Adam, when you saw that pass, you're just like, oh dang.
It was crazy. Even my wife, who watches probably every other race with me, was like, oh my God. And I started texting you guys. She's like, no, keep watching, because they were so close for that next little bit where they kind of were fighting each other off, as racers obviously do. I think, honestly, I thought it was great, and I thought it would be a shame. And it was funny because if he was penalized, it would be a shame. I thought it was funny because he pre-argued with George Russell's complaints too, which I also thought was hilarious. Like, George Russell is not going to let I know people give him shit for this, but he's not going to let something on the line go without some sort of protest, because this is racing and you got to find every edge. And if that means going to the stewards every time, then go to the stewards every time. Max certainly does, right? You got to do that. And I think George has developed a bit of a reputation among the other drivers as a complainer. I don't really blame him for it, but man, it was great to see Charles put that together, and such a shame when his race ended. Now, I want to move on to
one more thing. I'll update people. So Leclerc, when he was sitting on the hill, he had a cell phone in his hand.
Yes.
So that's I believe that cell phone belonged to one of the camera photographers who follows him around and takes pictures of him at the races and stuff.
Okay. So he was just watching the race on the camera?
Well, I think so. It sounded like it. I mean, he's like listening to the audio on the phone.
He could. I'm sure he could have gone back. I think he probably needed some time to cool down.
Oh, buddy, I don't blame him. I would have been furious. I'm surprised he didn't stay on the track and like yell at Antonelli as he's driving by.
I mean, obviously, he was actually in the media pen afterwards. I was really impressed by how measured he was, and he said, a young driver, these things happen. And Kimi fully owned it to the press. He's like, you want to go for it, but you probably shouldn't in situations like that. Be more patient. Let's. I mean, Mercedes didn't have a great day either, but we can hold on that. Let's talk a little Max. This is his home race. For a car that continually gives him problems, and he radioed the team and he said this drive is total shit right now. And that's before several safety cars happened. So I think he got some tires on and it changed the race for him. Second place, Tim. Second place.
Yeah.
This ride is shit, and he's in second. Now, and I know part of that has to do with Lando Norris's engine failure. We'll get to that in a second. But Max's race and Max's weekend, you have to applaud the guy. He's unbelievable.
Oh, he's an animal. Absolute animal. I think, Adam, when you get to watch Max up close and personal, you just gain a whole new level of respect for the guy. I mean, just watching him. So some of the vantage points I had this weekend were really good. I had one where I was like right over top of the drivers as they were coming into turn one, apexing and exiting. So I could look right in the cockpit and see what they're doing with their hands, how much understeer each car has when they go in there. Because you and I did this on the sim, where I was like, yeah, turn one, you get a lot of understeer through here. And you can actually see the drivers like dealing with it when you're like standing above them. But Max, every time he came into turn one, dude, like on a push lap, like he friggin' sent it in. And you could just see him experimenting with the limit on some of the push runs in FP2. Mm-hmm. And then you could see it again in FP3 when he was getting ready for qualifying.
Or he went in the gravel. He didn't crash.
He went in the gravel. He didn't crash.
Yeah.
But that was because of like he did that practice start and he kind of just sent it in. But I don't think he was expecting it to be to catch him out like that. However, watching him like commit to different parts of this track this weekend was amazing. His sector 2 in qualifying, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it. Like I don't know. Like nobody knows. I don't even think he knows. He was just so aggressive, dude. It was one of those things where it's like, I'm going flat out through turn 7, Skyflock, that fast downhill right-hander. Let me tell you something, buddy. When you see that thing in person and you're like, they go flat out 7th, 8th gear through here. It's like, huh? Yeah, what?
Well, I was thinking too, like the just the start that he had, he got a little squirrely, right? There was a speed wobble, and then he immediately cuts back into the crowd, passes Lando Norris.
Oh, the pass was incredible.
Unbelievable.
What a pass, man. That's
and Lando
like
can't get him back until like at lap 15. Like, it was crazy, Tim.
Max knew Lando was going to get him back. He said in the press conference where he was yeah, you know what? I knew Lando was going to repass me. He's like, but I wanted to have some fun. But dude, did he ever send it? Holy jeez. Catches a bit of sand. So he said that it was really sandy at that part of the track. I don't think he was expecting it to be that bad, but when he got in there, it caught him out immediately, and he's got to quickly react to that, man. And when you see that in real time and how fast that is and like live, like the TV does one thing, but seeing it in person, you're just like, how did he bring the car back and make the pass? Like it was outstanding pass. An outstanding pass from Charles Leclerc, an outstanding pass from Max Verstappen on Sunday in this race. It was incredible, man. It was absolutely incredible. I think for the Dutch fans, they got their money's worth today because it was a great race. Adam, the atmosphere here, I'm going on a tangent. We should touch on this at the end.
Give it to me.
The atmosphere here is electric. It is on another friggin' level, dude. They love their Max Verstappen. The Dutch fans they're awesome. There's so much energy coming from them. Before the start of the race, they're all clapping and singing in the grandstands. Everybody's, quite lubricated, which is.
I mean, listen, the Dutch know how to party. Did you see Nelson, by the way? Did you see our friend of the show, Nelson?
So Nelson was working, buddy.
Was he?
He was like really, every time I saw him, he was like sweating. I was like, dude, like, you need to relax. He's like, bro, I've been here since 7 a.m. He's like, I've had 7 coffees already. I'm like, well, I've had one. So
what a guy.
Like, he was working. He's like, this is your home race. This is what you do at your home race. I'm like, well, this is what you do at your home race.
Man, this is just a guy who, even when he's not winning, it's just undisputed. He's the best driver on the track.
Yeah, he's crazy how good he is, Adam. So on Friday, they were like pretty in the weeds with their car. Yep. It took them like a lot of sim work to get the car dialed into where they could have something that was drivable. And for Max, the soft tire was the best. Mm-hmm. It was his car handled better on the soft than it did on any of the other tires.
Is that why they started with it?
That's why they started with it. One of the things is because like he had that one new used soft tire left over that they could use. And for McLaren, they were scared because they knew Max was going to use that as a weapon at some point in the race. And for Verstappen, the choice to be really aggressive straight out of the box with that soft tire to see what they could do. I mean, you never know, right? Yeah. If he gets a great start, the soft tire may activate better than the mediums or the hards, and you could give yourself that extra advantage. And so that's sort of what that thought process was. It was to be as aggressive as possible, to see how far you could get up off the start, see how aggressive you could be with the soft tire, see how far it was going to take you, and just sort of roll the dice. And that's basically what Max and the team did this weekend. That was like an old school, Adam, an old school Red Bull second place finish, or even, like victory sort of thing, when they used to be really aggressive with the strategy, really aggressive with the pit stop, really aggressive with the tire, not conservative whatsoever. And for Max, that really worked. It really worked for him this weekend. Plus, I mean, he's also got the energy and the juice from the crowd that's, behind him, than whatever it was, 100,000 fans behind him chanting his name. I think when we take a look at this car and the track and the configuration, Adam, this car should not be on the podium. Yeah, it just shouldn't. He was the difference maker once again.
And Yuki finally gets back into the points. I think he really needed that.
Yeah. Very good
result.
result.
Has to feel good. Do you think the team takes anything from that? Like, hey, we got, because they can't be thinking about their ceiling. They got to be thinking about their floor. And what I mean by that is not the floor of the car, like their worst days. They got to bring that level up. Yuki getting into the points. I know it took 2 Ferraris and a McLaren to not be there for him to do that. Still, that's a positive sign. Do you think that is what we're going to see more of, or are we going to see what we've seen previously, which is Yuki struggling like everybody else has with this car?
I think it's going to be up and down, especially for Yuki in this car. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be, we're going to see races where, he may score points again, but we're also going to see race weekends where he's really going to struggle. And that's just the nature of this car and trying to get it into a good operating window. He was pretty frustrated at the end of qualifying. Like, he felt that the laps were good. And I took that as a signal that the laps are good. Why isn't it showing with the lap time? And when you kind of get that as a driver, it's sort of a mental barrier at that point, because you're like, what else do I have to do here to squeeze performance out of this thing when I'm already squeezing as much performance out of it as I can find? And Yuki's not a bad driver. He's no slouch, right? Like he is a very good driver. It's like we go back to the Sergio Perez days. We were talking on here like, hey, Sergio's a good driver. Like it's just that car is incredibly challenging to drive. And Max is just, keep saying it, generational. Like he's that next evolution of the sport.
Yeah.
And so that's what you're up against. As another driver, as a teammate, whatever, like that's what you're up against. And so I think the team did a good job of helping Yuki find a bit more performance. I think they've got that set more towards race mode than they did quali mode. And I think that really played into his hands. Plus the safety cars that came out also giving Yuki a bit of a hand as well. But really great drive from him at the end to make a couple passes, get up with the points.
In the first lap, a lot of cars were all over. There was a lot of cars all over Isack Hadjar's car. I mean, that Racing Bulls car at number 4. You said it earlier, man. He hung it out and he nailed it on that last qualifying lap. And it was interesting because it was like the announcers assumed, okay, the Racing Bulls car is going to fall. Mm-hmm. But there were so many fights behind him between Mercedes and Ferrari and a few other cars that he just hung on with his nails and was able to, after Lando Norris's power unit failed, that's what we think happened. He was able to get on a podium, and it's his very first, and it's exciting because, you think about the way this guy's season started with that weird spin out in Australia. He's in tears. Anthony Hamilton gives him a hug. Helmut Marko was decidedly unkind in his comments about that incident, and that could have derailed it all right there. Confidence when you're 18 or 19 years old, Tim, is a really fleeting, fickle thing. Yep. And he was able to not only turn it around, but be the standout driver on that team and surprise so many people. And now he is the 5th youngest driver ever to sit on a podium, which is unbelievable. And there are now conversations about, oh no, he might perform himself into a Red Bull seat, and that'll be the end. And I hope that they don't do that. They got to get that car sorted out first. But Tim, I mean, let's talk about his race. Consistent seems to be what this guy is every single time.
It was a fantastic weekend from about him. That's funny, by the way, because I heard that a couple times tonight. I was at the track. I couldn't stop dying. Where it's like,
don't do that to the poor man. Don't do it.
Don't put him up into the big team.
Yeah,
don't do it.
No, it's too much.
But it's like it's never been a truer statement. Like, I think for Isack, it was coming into the weekend for him when I was chatting with him. He was telling me that it's been a bit of a up and down last couple of races before the summer break. And then taking that summer break to cool off, recharge the batteries was a huge thing for him, and to return with a fresh mindset. And I think it also helps that Liam Lawson has been just pushing him so much when it comes to qualifying. And he said it as much at the end of quali on Saturday. And right there puts you in that position, right? It puts you in that position to possibly get a podium. And sure enough, obviously we had the stuff happen with Lando Norris, which we can touch on in a bit. But you just need to hang around to have that opportunity. And sure enough, right, putting together a really solid race, trying to stay out of as much trouble as he could, keep his nose clean, try to hold position as much as he can, and use the tire in the right moments. So there's a delta for passing is probably just over a second. So if the car is about a second faster than the one that it's chasing, then sure enough, making a pass is a little more realistic. Yeah. However, if you're the driver in front, Adam, if you can wear down the person who's chasing you a little bit and just hold on, if they only have, let's say, 5/10 as an advantage, it's not enough to get something done and to pull off a pass. somewhere. And you could see that when a lot of the guys were going down into turn one, they would pull out, they would think about it for a second, and then you could see them dart back in behind the driver being like, no, still not there, even with the DRS. And I think for Hadjar, just being able to keep that in his mind, and then also, Adam, having the wherewithal and the foresight to know where he could place the car on the track that would be enough to block another driver due to bumps in the pavement, where it's like this section of track, let's say it's heading down to turn 11. I think it's 11. I think the chicane is 11 and 12. Heading down towards there, because that's where we saw Leclerc pass Russell. But putting the car in a place where if the other wants to try and make a pass there, they're going to have to go over some bumps. And when they do that, they know they're not going to be able to pull the pass off because the car is so upset. And just having that mentality to know that is something that is really, really smart, because that's him doing his homework in like free practice 1, free practice 2, being like, hey, okay, in the race, if I put the car here, no one's going to be able to pass me here because they wouldn't risk it because of how bumpy this side of the track is.
Yeah.
It's really, really smart thinking from him. I'm actually really impressed because he is a rookie, Adam, and to like have that bandwidth to think about that and have that in the back of your mind. It's really impressive. Like I thought this was a really great weekend from Hadjar.
I don't think I've heard it put in quite that detail, Tim, but you know, that is impressive considering. I mean, I'm sure he raced this in F2 or F3 or whatever, but it's
still different though in the F1 car.
It is, and it's so
like,
much faster. It's so much faster.
Yeah, things are happening at such a faster rate, and then also like the car's picking up different things on the track than the F2 car is. Mm-hmm. Since the F1 car can get even lower to the ground than an F2 car can, you're going to feel things. The car's going to feel much more alive when you hit bumps and things of that nature in an F1 car because you're just so low to it. So just being able to like, and not having any laps out on that track in an F1 car, like this was it for him, right? Like he hasn't come here and like tested F1 machinery at Zandvoort. He's come here this weekend and that is it. And so just to quickly pick out those little things while trying to deal with everything else, while not really getting a free practice 2 session in because they had to pull the plug on it, like whatever it was, a couple minutes into the session, he didn't really even get any laps done in free practice 2, and that was an important session. And then for him to go and qualify P4, like really standout weekend from Hadjar, from the rookies, really, even Behrman and Bortoletto as well, and Antonelli at some points too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think they've all progressed rather well. And I would say that Liam Lawson, until that incident with Carlos Sainz, was having a really great race as well, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, I think it would not have been surprising, I think, for anybody that really watched that race and saw a lot of what happened this weekend if both Racing Bulls had finished ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, right? Like, that wouldn't have been surprising. It was surprising to see one of them on the podium, and great for Hadjar. I think what a spectacular scene. He even broke the trophy afterwards. Yeah. I don't know why they make those trophies so damn, like, they do that in the Netherlands, and they do it in Hungary as well. Like, stop giving them pottery. I also feel bad for Nico Hulkenberg. His trophy is Lego. I'm like, dude, give him a real friggin' trophy, dude. Like, have a Lego trophy, but have like a real trophy, man. Like a serious trophy. But anyway, I digress. I think Hadjar was awesome. You can't help but root for him. He just seems like the best guy, and an amazing car for Racing Bulls. And I think if you're a Red Bull fan, knowing that Racing Bulls car, which has come so far in the last couple of years, right? You think about where they were with AlphaTauri at the end of the 2023 season, just terrible. And Laurent Mekies coming in and doing such a great job there for such a short period of time. It bodes well for the Red Bull senior team here coming up, which I think is exciting because you need them to be good. Now, I want to talk about one that really surprised me because we are going to jump around the grid a little bit here, but Lance Stroll, who crashed in practice, crashed in qualifying, started 20th, finishes in 7th. Fernando Alonso, who was prodding his team, come on, you're putting me out in traffic. Let me do an undercut. And he did. And he finishes 8th. The team, like, what an unbelievable finish for Aston Martin, who's been a non-factor all season long, Tim.
Yeah, fantastic, right? And we were wondering about this, Adam, coming out of Hungary. Like we were talking about, like, are they going to be competitive in Zandvoort, considering the track configurations are a little similar? Obviously, not as much elevation, but it bodes well for them later on down the road. Like maybe when we get to Singapore, like maybe that could be a spot where Aston Martin could excel again. I think Monza is going to be a struggle. I think that's going to be a hard race for them.
Yeah, I don't think their straightaway speed's great.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to be very good, man. But I think in this race, let's start with Lance, because obviously he finished ahead of Fernando, so we'll start with him. Definitely a difficult weekend. So crashing on Friday, has the two Ferraris in front of him. Just that amount of wind disturbance took about 40 points of downforce off the car. And in that moment, so when the car is losing downforce, he's sending it in because he's on a push lap, man. Like he's fully committed, sends it in and just understeer because of losing so much downforce. Now on Saturday, that was all Lance. That dropping a wheel and then into the wall, that was all on him. Rebounding, though, the way he did was extremely impressive because it wasn't the safety car that helped out Lance get to where he was. It was the stint that he did on the hard tires and the hard tires alone. I mean, the safety car helped Behrman big time, and Lance would have caught and got past Behrman if there was a few more laps left in the race because of not only the delta, like the overall delta. Lance was quicker. So I think for Aston Martin to come away with double points, I was down with Mike Crack at Aston Martin following this one. He was super happy with how things went for the team this weekend. To not give up is basically what he said. That was the big talking point within the team. No one on Lance's side giving up, and no one on Fernando's side giving up. I think obviously Fernando's going to be a little bit upset with how it all played out, but I think, if people go back and listen to his radio, I believe he's the one who's calling when he wants to come in and box.
Yeah.
And so the team's having to adjust to that sort of strategy, to play out. And obviously it didn't, right? But I think just for Fernando to rebound enough to come back and get those points towards the end is, again, a great drive from both drivers. And just a great result from the team. Because like we have talked about, Adam, with that fifth in the constructor standings, Aston Martin sixth, it is a possibility for them to get that fifth in the constructors. And so when both of these cars capitalize on the weekends, they're going to be strong. I mean, this is a realistic goal now, where at the beginning of the season, you and I were talking are they going to be battling for 9th and 10th with Alpine?
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what it felt like, right?
I mean, man, it most definitely did. We got to Bahrain, and I was like, oh God, this is just horrible. This is just horrible. This is going to be just a horrible season for I said it on here. It's going to be a tough season, really tough. But the way they've been able to turn it around, and there are only a handful of engineers working on this car now, because everyone's really moved over to the 2026 car, and so not a lot of people left working on this machine for the rest of the season. Now they will have a small update for Monza. I expect it's probably going to be one of the older rear wings that is pretty trimmed out, so really low downforce.
Just to try to give them that speed that they're lacking?
Yeah, just to try and give them some sort of advantage for straight line speed, because they struggle with it so much. But again, Adrian Newey takes his lunches with that little crew that works on the development of this car, even though there's only whatever it is, a handful of them working on it. And pretty impressive to see that they've turned it around the way that they've turned it around, where now updates that they have been bringing have been working. So it's a positive sign for the team, Adam, when we take a look at 2026. But really solid job from both of those drivers this weekend.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
I have to give, Lance takes a lot of shit online,
Oh,
obviously
buddy.
because of who his father is, right?
Buddy.
I think it's like it reminds me a little bit of Nicholas Latifi as well, just because there's financial considerations there, but there's many financial considerations for many drivers. Lance is in a unique position because his dad is the owner of the team, but beyond that, Tim, like Lance has never given me the impression that he doesn't belong in Formula One, and what I was impressed by specifically in this race. And I've been impressed by certain things before. I think he's very good in mixed conditions. I think he, especially when it's like dry to rain, he's really, really good at managing a track change and taking advantage of other drivers that are not. He's from essentially an Arctic country, right? So we get all 4 seasons, and that's what happens here. But I would say that what I'm interested in Lance on this one is the maturity it took to start where he started on the tires he started with, watch the entire 19 cars ahead of him run away. And at times he was down 30 and 40 seconds and continue to just go, I'm not, like you said, from the garage, not giving up, going to stay on it. Fernando was his usual aggressive self. You didn't hear much from Lance in the race, but man, you have to give props where it's due.
Yeah.
Mediocre car at best.
Yeah.
And they're now only sitting, by the way, after today's race, 18 points behind Williams. And Williams, who had a really up and down race. Albon gained 5 spots, and then, it was looking like they were going to have a double finish in the points, and then Sainz and Liam Lawson run into each other. But those are the things, Tim, that cost you tens of millions of dollars, right? And Aston Martin could make this interesting. They have jumped ahead of Racing Bulls as well. So, I mean, this is that's fascinating. That's a really good midfield race. We got Williams, Aston Martin, and RB all within 20 points of each other. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of money on the line, like you said, Adam. And it is important. I mean, it doesn't matter if your team has a lot of money or they don't. Like, it doesn't matter if you're Mercedes or if you're like Alpine. Like in the money and financial difference between the two teams is pretty, is pretty big. And it's like, if you're Mercedes, I mean, it still matters. Like that, those tens of millions of dollars, like it matters. It matters to the shareholders. It matters to your development for your car next year. You need to like take that car and pay down your debt as well. And so like it matters on a number of different fronts. And so when you take a look at some of these teams that have the bigger budget. I mean, like Aston Martin's budget is good. They have a lot of sponsorship on board. They have a lot of partnerships that they've signed. And then plus you have the consortium that provides money as well. Plus you have now new shareholders with the team as well who provide finances at the same time. I mean, they expect results for sure. But at the same time, like they still need to have that extra money coming in so they can cover off so many other costs. So getting this 5th place for Aston Martin, it's extremely important. Like it is huge. You cannot give up on that. Just like Williams can't give up on that either. I mean, even if they have made an error in judgment in terms of, in my opinion, shutting off the taps for development so early and moving that focus to 2026. Yes, I understand that for Williams, that's an important move for them. But at the same time, Adam, it's gonna cost them, right? Like you're going to have to take. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to take some pain somewhere.
Yep.
Right? Or you can roll the dice, believe in that project, and try and do both if you can, and move both forward, and then find the right time to start shutting off the taps in terms of the development. For Aston Martin, I mean, they still have little bits coming. Like, it's not the end of the development for this car because they are going to be pushing for that 5th in constructors.
Yep.
And so, like you said today in the race, I mean, for Lance, really nice job on Gabriel Bortoleto. That was a great pass on him that kind of went unnoticed. And then as well, hanging on to that hard tire for, like, because he was one of the first runners to make a stop. And to hang on to that tire for, oh gosh, I think it was over 40 laps he put on that hard tire just to make it like stay alive you can't let that go unnoticed. It's a really good drive. So, I mean, yeah, well, I mean, people can say whatever. It was a good drive from Lance today. Again, great stuff from Alonso, like always. I think Monza, for this team and both of these drivers, it has to, whatever they can do, it has to be damage limitation, because I think it's going to be a really tough weekend.
And not to be outdone, Haas gets 2 guys into the points as well. Ollie Behrman being the highlight there at 6th place, and Esteban Ocon at 10th. Big thing for them, because obviously in the standings, and this is where this stuff really starts to matter, they can sort of somewhat keep Kick Sauber within reaching distance, because Haas is currently sitting at 9th, and you know that was not their goal this year. They wanted to be in that mid-pack, and so far, it started okay for them, but I feel like they've underperformed by the standards that they set for themselves. We won't even get into Alpine and their internal standards, but I feel like Haas has got to be looking at Kick Sauber and potentially RB going, you're still within striking distance. We're within 15, 16 points of both of you. We got it. That's got to be our North Star. That's got to be the thing that drives us every single day. And it was a gutsy win in terms of points for them. Like, they're really, I think, Tim, they're going to have to grind this out. I think they did just that today.
I think so too. I think for Haas, like, there was a lot of difficulty in qualifying. I think getting the tire fired up and getting it ready. I think they really struggled, like, with that. But when it came down to the race, I think smart move by the team to swap out Ollie's power unit. Obviously, you've got Monza coming up, so it's a good time to do it. Mm-hmm. And I think it sets you up well for Monza, because you're going to be coming in with a fresh power unit. But also at the same time, I mean, for both Ollie and for Esteban, where they both started, like, both of them just at the back because of, like, poor qualifying. And putting together, getting a little benefit from the safety car, no question. However, still driving yourself to the, I mean, everyone's going to get something from the safety car.
Yep.
So let's not blow this out of proportion when it's like, people are like, oh, well, they got help from the safety car. Yeah, that's racing. I mean, this is a part of the sport. Like, you have to put yourself in that position to take advantage of it.
Yep.
And the drivers that benefited from it put themselves in that position. And I think the team did a great job of some of their calls from pit wall. And Behrman really executed. And so did Ocon. I can't take anything away from either one of those drivers, because they did a really excellent job today. In conditions that were up and down, and in situations where pit wall had to make some really aggressive calls. And for Haas, like, not the biggest team, not the team with the most money, not the team with the most personnel, certainly.
No.
But Io Komatsu has that team just really executing at a high level. And I don't want to, like, slam anything that Gunther Steiner ever did. I mean, obviously, Gunther's a friend of the show. He comes on,
established the team. Yeah, did everything. Yeah.
It's the fact that I think Io took it to the next sort of level, where he saw, like, we can get better here, and here, and then took those departments and really pushed them. Like, really pushed them in the directions that he felt that they needed to go in. And these are sort of the fruits of that labor that have been sort of coming to bear over this season, because it has been an impressive season from Haas. Again, I think this is a team that can push for that 6th in the constructors, 5th in constructors as well, because both drivers are excellent. And Adam, I gotta say how impressed I am with what Ollie Behrman does within a weekend, and how quickly he gets to the limit of the machine. Like, he's like, sometimes, like, so Haas was telling us a little bit about Behrman in Hungary. It's an interesting story that Io told us, and it was on which day did he tell us? It was Thursday. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things where turn 4, I don't know if you remember it, but turn 4 is a really fast left-hander. Mm-hmm. And the exit curbing is very serrated. And it can really damage the car if you take too much of it. But for Behrman, for him, he was being aggressive straight out of the box, and they had to start replacing floors on the car because he was just being so aggressive and getting to the limit of the car so fast that like Io had to say to him, like you're damaging too many floors.
Right.
and that's up to him to try and like find the balance of where does he rein Ollie in,
yep,
and where does he like sort of let him go.
Right, and you don't want to have to push a guy. You want to have to rein him in.
100%, 100% at him, especially in a race car. And that's one of the things that they're kind of like working with him on is like where and when do we kind of pull him back, and where and when do we kind of let him go? And I think part of it is experience, because he's just going hell bent for leather, man. Going through turn 4, that left-hander at Hungary, and he's going over the curbs. He's just sending it in there. And it's kind of like, okay, well, like take it easy. You don't really need to do that right now. I mean, when it comes to qualifying, yes, not free practice 1 on lap 5. Because he was getting to the limit of the car so fast that they were just like caught off guard from it. They're just like, holy shit, like he's getting there, like great, he's already there kind of thing. And it's like, we weren't expecting that. So I think for that team, Adam, they have a really bright future with not only Komatsu, and sorry for the noise, everybody. I'm in the lobby of the hotel.
That's good. Hey, it's it's after a race and you're in a hotel lobby. Come on, we love it.
But like for Haas, it's I feel that they're in a good position with Io Komatsu, and I feel like they're in a great position with both of their drivers.
So I want to get to the questions here, and one of them is really interesting. So Jacques Villeneuve, who always has quotable moments, which is why I think Sky Sports loves him so much.
I saw Jacques this weekend.
Did you? Did you say hi to him?
I was talking to him, yeah.
He seemed to be a lot calmer. Sometimes he gets a little snarly. I thought he was pretty good, but this is... Michael Klink writes, this one sticks out in terms of Jacques' comments this weekend. He said, about Kimi Antonelli, quote, maybe F1 is too much for him right now. He said, Michael says, I wonder if he's ready because the results appear to show that. Should he be driving for someone else next year? Now, right after the race, we know that Toto Wolff basically all but confirmed that Kimi and George will be back next year.
I think you and I confirmed that on this show, Adam.
Sorry?
I said I think you and I had confirmed this on this show.
Yeah, but Toto said it on the thing and whatever.
I think it was also confirmed on Digital Sports Center.
Yes, yes. What do you think about Jacques' comments about that? It feels a little bit like, okay, it was a tough race, and so they're going hard on him.
I think, like, Adam, when we look at rookies, it comes down, like, I think we tend to be pretty hard on rookies. Mm-hmm. And the fact that, Kimi Antonelli is at Mercedes sort of raises that bar for what this rookie should be doing. What do we think this rookie should be doing? Because they're at Mercedes, the best of the best. This guy needs to be doing better. He's not. Like, maybe this is just too much for him. This just stuff of that nature. And I understand the question. It's a fair question. I think also, like, Toto rolled the dice on this. Like, he saw Antonelli with so much potential and speed that he didn't want to... See, I don't think he really wanted to just leave him in F2 for another season and not have him in the car beside George learning. And I think Toto knew what he signed up for. Like, he knew that this was going to be a learning year for Antonelli. He wasn't going to come in and, set the record books ablaze. It was going to be, he's going to show speed. He's going to have some ups. He's probably going to have a lot of downs. We just need to manage the downs. And how do we help him when he hits the downs? Like, he hits these moments where the confidence is really low, really down on himself. And so I think when Toto looks at, it's not really an experiment. What do I want to say? What do I want to call this? I think when Toto looks at this, he looks at it from the viewpoint of, I'm okay with sacrificing some things this year. If that means he's going to blow a couple races, make some big errors in others, but he's still going to be there to collect some good points when we need them, then I'm okay with him making mistakes, beaching the car, 5 minutes into a free practice session, running into the side of Charles Leclerc trying to pull off a pass, which was a little, over opportunistic. And I think
you want to pull your guys back. You don't want to have to push them. And Tim, they knew they weren't going to win this year. So why not get them into the car, get them comfortable with the team, and then let's go 2026, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I think even Adam, when we get to 2026, like I was with Toto at the end of this one as well, and a reporter had asked him, it was a good question actually, that it's kind of like, okay, well, what if he's, what if he's something similar in 2026? And I think for Toto, like, he's also good with that.
Yeah.
And it's like I kept saying, right, where it's like you really need a good 3 years to understand what type of a driver you have, and then you get a better picture of what they can become. When you look at Oscar Piastri, this is year 3, dude. Like, so you know, like, oh, there's a lot more to come from this guy. Yeah. Like, we are only like for Oscar, like, we are only scratching the surface here. There is so much more for him and so much further for him to go, that you look at a guy like Kimi Antonelli and it's like, okay, yeah, there's still obviously way more room to grow. That's going to take time, and we're not really going to know exactly what we have until we get to that sort of, year 3 of this project. Mm-hmm. But for Toto, I think it was just that raw speed, that raw hunger and aggression that he saw, and was like, I think this kid's going to be really good. Like, we need to take our chance on him. And yeah, bringing him back at him is the right move. Obviously, like, I don't agree with, just taking a rookie, putting him in for a season and then doing away with him. I don't agree with that stuff. Like, you really do need to give your drivers time. This is a different type of a Formula One than what it was back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
100%. And Jacques made another point about Formula One and what it used to be. And I thought this was an interesting one. And I used that question as a jumping off point to hit on McLaren, because we haven't talked about them. Piastri had a great race. No surprise there. Again, no mistakes. Awesome. Lando Norris was looking real fast. They were just barely shy of each other in qualifying. Obviously, you touched on that on the podcast as well, in the post-qualifying podcast. But Tim, what Villeneuve said was, listen, back in the day, F1 cars broke down all the time. So when you were racing your teammate, you knew that if you broke down and you're going for the championship, eventually they're going to break down too, and it'll even itself out. He's like, these days, cars just don't do that anymore. You just don't see that. And so Lando's car blowing out the way that it did, when it did, instead of there being a couple of points gap between the two of them, now it's pretty massive. And I wonder, did we potentially see the championship awarded today?
Ooh, good question. I agree with what Jacques saying, because he's excuse me, he's bang. Yeah, he's bang on, right? I mean, he does throw his hot takes out there, and you know what? He should, right? He's more than.
That's why he's there.
That's why he's there for sure, 100%. Plus, he's won a championship, so I think he knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. But when we take a look at what happened today with Norris, Toto Wolff wasn't sure. Obviously, Mercedes provides the power units. He wasn't too sure what exactly it was, whether if it was a chassis failure or whether it was an oil leak. And then Andrea Stella confirmed that he's not sure either what had actually happened. But Adam, if we get to Abu Dhabi and the difference in this thing is like 9 points, then we kind of know where this thing was lost, which is a shame, really. And it was heartbreaking to watch Lando on the side of the hill there, just with his head in his hands, and same with his engineer Will Joseph on the pit wall with his head in his hands. Because,
but he was said to Lando, "You were fast today. You were fast."
He
today.
was.
Wanted him to know that.
Yeah, and he was like. Honestly, I'm surprised that. Part of me is surprised that Oscar won. Part of me isn't. Another part of me is a little shocked that Lando didn't win, and the other part of it is like, well, this is the type of championship that we are in this year. Yeah. But then again, you're like, wait. there's a DNF due to a mechanical. Like, what the hell? Like, where did that come from? I haven't seen one of these McLarens flame out. I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even sit here and give you the race where there was a mechanical DNF on a McLaren. Couldn't do it because they've been rock solid for so long. And to have it happen here in this particular race, fighting each other for a driver's title, it is really heartbreaking. But Andrea Stella said it sort of perfectly at the end of this one when we were with him for his press conference, where it was just going to make him hungrier.
Yeah.
And I can see that. I can see what he's getting at when he says that. And I think also as a driver, when you look at it from that viewpoint, I mean, you can't let this deter you or hold you back from trying to go after this thing. This could be what Lando actually needs to unleash what else he has inside of him. Because one thing with Lando, Adam, is that he gets to the limit like immediately. Oscar takes time. He builds up to it, which is a smart process. That's Oscar's. It works for him. Lando has his that works for him. It's being on it right away. It's pushing to that limit immediately, getting there, and then trying to fine tune. And I think really the difference between the two of them is, it's really nothing. Like the qualifying was like what, 100th of a second?
Yeah, it's nothing.
Like, nothing. Come on. Like that's nothing. So it's a championship where I want to see both of them fight it out for it. I don't want to see it handed to any one driver because of like mechanical DNFs.
Got it. Yep, absolutely. Well, Tim, we're going to leave it at that.
But Adam, like, sorry to circle back. I think that's what everybody wants to see.
100%. That's what we want. Now it's interesting. Let's see if Lando can claw it back. He had a good race in Monza in the Daniel Ricciardo years. Even he's been pretty good at that track. So I think maybe a win in Monza would cure a little bit of some of the issues that happened today. Tim, we're going to wrap it up and let you get to bed because I know it's been a long day and a long weekend.
We got to talk about Piastri real quick.
You want to talk about Piastri?
Well, of course. I mean, the guy was fantastic. Like, just honestly, I don't have enough good things to say about him because he's just incredible. But Adam, I thought he managed the race really well.
Yep.
I thought he did a good job of keeping Lando at bay when he had to. Because there were moments where Lando was really smart with how he was using the tire when he was going to start making his push towards Oscar, and Oscar having the wherewithal to be like, I got to leave myself a tiny bit of a buffer, but I also understand that I can't push the car too much or I'm going to eat the tire and Lando's going to catch me. And having that sort of bandwidth to measure all of that, and then understanding when Lando is making his push for himself to start making his push so he could keep that gap to where it was, not making any mistakes. Really hard race from him inside that car. Really physical race, Adam. Tired these guys out a lot of concentration out there, as well as obviously the physical nature of it. And I mean, Oscar just absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like, it's almost boring. He's so good. He's almost boring.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like one of those things where, it's like one of those things where like he makes it look easy, but that's the thing. It's like, it's not easy. Like he is operating at such a high level. He's doing so much work in there that he does make it look easy, but that's definitely not easy. But my God, I big respect for what Oscar did today for sure. And Adam, I'm looking forward to heading to Italy next because I get on a plane tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. We go to Italy, going to the Italian Grand Prix, going to be there. It's going to be a good time.
Well, I'm jealous, and I hope you have the best time. And we'll be checking in with you on Thursday, Tim, like we always do. The racing is back. We're in the back third of the season. It's hard to believe, but we're already here. Really, really looking forward to it, buddy. So safe travels, and we'll see you in Italy.
All right. Thanks, Adam.